If you have a VPS running a web app, a self-hosted service, or even just an Nginx reverse proxy, it is getting hit right now. Not maybe, not eventually, right now. Squel injection probes, bot crawlers, XSS payloads, all showing up in your logs, whether you know it or not. Most people just ignore this, or they pay for some cloud firewall that routes all their traffic through someone else's servers. Today, I'm going to show you a different approach, a self-hosted web application firewall called SafeLine, free, open source, and it runs entirely on your own machine. No cloud proxy, nobody else touching your traffic. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly what it caught on a live server. Here's something most people don't think about when they spin up a VPS. The moment your server gets a public IP, it's visible. Bots are scanning the entire IPv4 range constantly. Within minutes of provisioning a new server, you'll already have entries in your access logs. Most of these are harmless crawlers, but a chunk of them are actively probing for vulnerabilities. Things like trying common admin paths, /wp-admin, /php-myadmin, /admin/login, injecting SQL into query parameters to see if your database throws an error, sending malformed headers to test how your app responds. A firewall at the network level, like UFW or IP tables, won't stop this. Those work at the port level. They don't understand HTTP. They can't read your traffic and decide whether a request looks malicious. That's what a web application firewall does. It sits in front of your app, reads every request at the HTTP layer, and blocks anything that matches known attack patterns. The question is, which WAF? And do you have to trust a third party with all your traffic to get one? This video is sponsored by SafeLine, and before I get into the setup, I want to be honest about why I said yes to this one. A few things stood out when I looked at it. First, it's on GitHub with over 21,000 stars, making it one of the most popular WAF projects out there. To be transparent, it's not fully open source. The semantic detection engine is partially open sourced, not the entire codebase. But the core threat detection is the same across both the free and paid versions, and the project is free to use after installation. Second, it's self-hosted. Your traffic never leaves your server, no cloud proxy sitting in the middle. That matters a lot if you care about privacy and data sovereignty, which, if you're watching this channel, you probably do. Third, there's a real free community edition, not a crippled trial. You can run this indefinitely on your own server at no cost. The Pro version adds things like advanced rate limiting, unlimited protected sites, and ARM support. But the free Personal Edition supports up to 10 sites, which covers most home lab and small server setups comfortably. It protects against SQL injection, cross-site scripting, path traversal, malicious bots, and more. It uses a semantic analysis engine rather than just regex pattern matching, which means it's harder to bypass with simple encoding tricks. Alright, let's actually set it up. The requirements are straightforward. You need a Linux server, x86_64 architecture, with Docker installed. Minimum 1 core, 1 gig of RAM, and 5 gigs of disk space. If you don't have Docker yet, one command handles it. Once Docker is ready, SafeLine has an automated installer. This is the fastest path. Run that as root, and the installer pulls down everything it needs via Docker Compose. After it finishes, open your browser and go to your server's IP on port 9443. At the end of the install, the script prints your credentials directly in the terminal. An initial username of admin, and a randomly generated password. You'll need it once and then you can change it. Log in and this is what you see, a clean dashboard. Attack statistics, request volume, your sites listed on the left. Nothing bloated. Now here's where it gets interesting. SafeLine works as a reverse proxy. So instead of your domain pointing directly at your app, traffic goes to SafeLine first. SafeLine inspects it, and then passes clean requests through to your app. Your app doesn't change at all. You're just adding a layer in front of it. Go to the Sites section and click Add Application. You'll see a few fields: domain, port, and upstream. Port is what SafeLine listens on, so this is where incoming traffic hits first. Upstream is your actual back-end app, the address and port your app is running on. So if you have a Node app running on port 8080, you'd set the port to something like 3000 and the upstream to 127.0.0.1:8080. Traffic comes in on 3000. SafeLine inspects it and clean requests get forwarded to your app on 8080. Give it an application name so you can identify it in the dashboard. Leave SSL blank for now. Make sure reverse proxy is selected and save it. SafeLine is now sitting in front of that app. This is the part I actually wanted to see. What does the attack log look like in practice? Every blocked request shows up here. You can see the source IP, the type of attack it detected, the exact request that triggered it, and what rule fired. Let me show you what a SESQL injection attempt looks like when SafeLine catches it. You can see the raw payload in the request, something like OR1=1 appended to a query parameter. Classic stuff. SafeLine flags it, blocks it, logs it. Same thing with XSS. If someone sends a request with a script tag in a parameter, blocked, logged, source IP recorded. What I like about the log is that it shows you the why, not just this was blocked, but the specific pattern that matched. That's useful when you're trying to understand whether a block was a false positive or a real attack. You can also see geographic distribution of where attacks are coming from, request volume over time, and which of your sites are taking the most hits. A few honest notes before I wrap up. The free personal edition supports up to 10 protected sites. If you need more, the light tier goes up to 20, and Pro removes the limit entirely. ARM servers require a Pro license, so if you're running this on an Oracle ARM free tier instance, you'd need to upgrade for it to work properly. And since this is a reverse proxy, you'll need to think about how it fits into your existing setup. If you already have Nginx doing SSL termination and proxying, you're essentially adding another hop. It's manageable, but it's worth mapping out before you deploy. For a home lab, a small VPS, or a startup running web apps they actually care about, the free edition is genuinely useful. The attack log alone is worth it just to see what your server is already dealing with that you didn't know about. Links to SafeLine are in the description. GitHub, the official docs, and the install guide if you want to follow along on your own server. This video was sponsored by SafeLine. They reached out because the project is actually open source and free to self-host, which fits what this channel is about. No upsell, no cloud subscription, you run it yourself. Appreciate them for making this possible. If you found this useful, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.